trade in history for Micah Parsons.
Right.
This might be the best trade.
Yeah. As of going into this past week,
third-round pick.
They got him for a third-round pick. As of this past weekend, before the games of this weekend, it was shaping up to be the 77th pick in the draft. Now the guy is unbelievable. If you didn't see it yesterday on Sunday NFL Countdown, Randy Moss said if he had to pick one receiver in the league right now who most reminds him of himself, he said George Pickens. So I mean that's
you can see it.
It's about the highest praise that you could possibly get.
You can't play him one-on-one.
And just to sort of finish the topic of the Cowboys defense, no one is suggesting they're the 85 Bears.
No.
But what have we said all along? If they could just get to decent, then the offense is good enough. Are they now maybe approaching decent?
They have the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Quinnen Williams, guys, like this is the future. Like when they did it, when they made all that draft capital, that type of trade, it's not going to get much better. So we better see it right now. Right. All right, but Quinnen Williams has absolutely dominated. Look, you think this was a good game? How about week 1 when he had 5 hits on the quarterback, 1.5 sacks, and 4 tackles? This kid has made a difference, all right? But at the same time, I'm not ready to anoint him just yet. We're going to see how they play these next 2 weeks, and then we'll be able to judge for ourselves.
I just think, you know better than me, I just think when you watch this defense on tape early on, there was nothing that stood out. Nothing. And I will say the past 2 weeks, I was reserved last week against the Raiders, but yesterday at least you saw violence, you saw physicality, you saw speed, you saw pursuit. That's different than what we saw the first 2 months.
Philadelphia was up 21-0 and didn't score again.
Yeah.
Now, totally. I know we can blame the Eagles' offense quite a bit.
And we will.
But that's fine. But the Cowboys' defense also had something to do with it.
100%.
We're going to we'll have a lot of time to break down this game as the morning continues. We'll save the Philly side of it in its totality for a little bit later. But if you were to put your finger, I'll start with you, Dan, and we'll go around.
Yeah.
Put your finger on the one. Look, that's a game that you cannot lose. I mean, you're beating your arch rival 21-0 with a chance to bury them in their own building and take total command. And it's not only, forget the division, which they'll probably win anyway, but you're holding off Green Bay in your rearview mirror and Detroit and the Rams and everybody else. What's the reason that they let them back in that game and ultimately lost?
Yeah, it's a total choke job. They were so one-dimensional on offense. The run game is so bad right now. Saquon Barkley has as many negative runs this season as Ashton Genty, who, by the way, the Raiders just fired their offensive coordinator.
That's right, yeah.
Coming off of a historic season, they got one-dimensional, and their one-dimensional pass game leaves a lot to be desired. It's early on, I liked it. It was empty. It was quarterback run. They got the ball distributed, and then they became one-dimensional, and it was the reliance on my guy better than your guy, and they're just not good enough up front to do that.
D-Wood, when you watch the Eagles offense right now, we just mentioned it, Saquon Barkley, 22 yards rushing, doesn't seem to have any of that.
He had 5 yards before contact.
5 yards before contact is what you're saying. This is the historic season last year.
Right.
So the offensive line isn't blowing people away, and Saquon doesn't seem to have the same burst. And the passing numbers actually look reasonably good. Both receivers sort of had big days. What's the problem with the Eagles' offense?
I think they're elementary.
Amen.
They're elementary on offense. Some of the stuff, like just watch the Eagles' offense compared to like what the Rams do. It's like night and day.
Yeah.
The things that some of these other advanced offenses that you see around the league do as opposed to the Philadelphia Eagles. They're very static. They don't run a bunch of bunches and stacks, condensed splits, things that a lot of high power offense that you see. The Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
You just look right across the field what the Dallas Cowboys are doing offensively, and they can't just line up and just dominate people. They can't do that. Their offensive line is nowhere near what they were last year and previous years.
So we'll come back to this. I will come back to this game, but the Cowboys winning today sets up a meeting with who on Thursday?
The Kansas City Chiefs, who had their own furious comeback yesterday.
Roll the
Philadelphia Eagles, damn it, we can do
back. Once it's going well for them, boy, all the stars and all that, they kick butt.
Right.
But as soon as they're faced that adversity, they're down, in this case, 3 scores, no chance. They're not coming back. That's game, set, match. Oh, yeah? Not this team. And that's where Brian Schottenheimer, the difference between Brian Schottenheimer and some of the others, I think, is that. He's building that type of character in that locker room. And so that's what it showed me. And look, this is a Super Bowl caliber offense.
Yes.
100% Super Bowl caliber offense. And by the way, CeeDee Lamb's playing like garbage. And they're still bad. So wait till he starts playing the way he's capable of playing. And this thing, who the hell wants to play him? Now, defensively, I still think they got major issues. We're going to see down the road. But this is a football team right here, and that is a statement win without question.
Philadelphia had the Cowboys dead to rights yesterday, and they had them dead to rights for the season. They let them off the hook because the Cowboys staged what is tied for the greatest comeback in their franchise history.
Right.
So they win the game, and not only did they win the game, but they get back into playoff contention. If they lose that, they're not going to the playoffs. No. Now you look at them and you say, maybe they can make it. There's hope there in Dallas.
You will see them the next 2 Thursdays. We'll see them Thanksgiving afternoon, as always, against the Chiefs, who we'll get to in a couple of minutes, and then the following Thursday against Detroit. Dan, specifically, if you're putting your finger on something, give me a tape. What is it the Cowboys did that won them this miracle game yesterday?
Oh, their defensive line punked Philly's offensive line. Punked them. I mean, that's the story of the first half to the second half. Jalen Hurts had no chance. They go under center. We've been begging for this. Watch Quinnen Williams versus the center. Hey, it's 2nd and 7. Let's try to get a play action pass. This play's dead. It's dead. The play is over because of the one-on-one win on 2nd down. Now 2nd and 7 becomes 3rd and 7. Let's watch our right tackle. This is 3rd. We just want one-on-one pass rushers. No Lane Johnson. Quarterback's supposed to complete this ball. That right tackle is in his lap right now versus pressure, tight coverage. You're not going to complete that football. Let's go to left tackle. Mailata, one of the best in football. Watch this one-on-one pass rush. 3rd down, we got to hold up. We got to help with protect. Done. Play's over. They're in Jalen Hurts' lap once again. No one's open. That's the difference of the football game. And if Rex saying this defense still has concerns, I got to give this Dallas defense credit. This defensive line dominated. Let me talk about Saquon's runs yesterday, okay? Because we're going to get to Philly, but this is more Dallas. Saquon's runs yesterday. 2 yard, -1 yard. 2 yard, 7 yards. 2 yards, 1 yard. 1 yard. 1 yard, 2 yards.
So, that's obviously outstanding work on the defense.
Suffocating defensive run.
What do you see from
Bixby's runs up?
After the,
I'm just saying, I don't know what they are, but to me, I would sit back and I'm telling you, there's a different juice when Tate Bixby's in there. For whatever reason, Saquon, this has been all season. He's not the same guy. And so to me, what you do to motivate him a little bit, you're not benching Saquon Barkley. Of course not. Oh, yeah, I'm going to play this guy about 8 to 10 carries. I'm telling you, there's a difference in mentality and how you smash it down people's throat. That's what you need right there. Like this guy here, like in a 4-minute situation, you got to go downhill, power run.
Yeah.
And look, I get it. You're right. That defense, they whipped them pretty good. Hey, look, don't feel like the Lone Ranger every single team. The last 3 weeks, this team has done absolutely nothing. In fact, Philadelphia's offense was sensational compared to the other 2 previous weeks.
But I do think for Dallas, you do have to sit there and go, Quinnen Williams absolutely has changed the defensive front.
Huge addition.
Overshown speed shows up. That was the thing that stood out from a defensive
How about his
perspective.
tackling in one-on-one?
One-on-one
space. I talked about that today.
Two plays to end the game. And then George Pickens. I think Pickens has absolutely played himself into the conversation for being the best receiver in football. I'm not saying that to be hyperbolic. You can't cover him one-on-one, but the thing that I think has made George different this year is George's past has been one-on-one go route. He's become so much more